It finally happened. Tomodachi Life 2 for the Switch got announced, and I am very excited. To be honest, I actually made a list few years ago with things I wanted for a second game. So, I present my wishes for Tomodachi Life 2. Let's start with the thing where we also start in the game, the personality. I think it would be better if we can choose the personality direct instead of in the options, like in Metopia. Also, it would be great if there will be more personalities, and maybe that you can choose more than one personality, like someone is nice and shy and someone else is proud, sporty, and very egotistic. The second thing I want is that we have more options with the hair and eye color. The best option would be if we would have the Me Maker from Metopia from the Switch, with wigs, makeup, skin color, and so on and so forth. I mean, what the people made there was very creative, and often it was also very hard to make non-human characters human. Like for me, it were Undertale, MLP, or Hazbin Hotel characters. But with the new Me Maker, that would be no problem at all. For fictional characters, it would be very helpful if you don't get forced to use a second name or a birthday. Often, you don't know the second name or birthday from fictional characters, so it would be great if you don't have to use it. Or you can choose a second name and a birthday randomly. One thing that's not only important to me, but also got criticized by many others, please make same-sex relationships possible. No joke, so it was so annoying in the first game when I wanted, for example, bring together Alphys and Undyne from Undertale. I had to change the gender from one of them because otherwise it wouldn't work. Generally, it would be very great if you can choose gender or sexual orientation anyway, like also aromantic and asexual. For me, it was also very annoying when my me said, "Hey, I want to have kids with my partner." No, you don't. A good example for this would be The Sims, where you can also choose the romantic or sexual orientation from the character. And it would be good for representation. And if you are afraid you get cancelled by that by many countries who are still a bit controversial about this, you can easily patch this out. Or at the beginning of the game, you can ask the question, do you want same-sex marriage, yes or no? And for people who don't want that, can simply choose no, and that's it. Also, now that we are onto it, if there's an option that you can make people bi or pansexual, it would also be great if it would be easier to bring two me's together as a couple. Because in the old game, it took me hours or even days or weeks to bring two specific characters together that I wanted, only for them to fall in love with someone else, or it didn't work. And the minigame for the proposal should also be easier. No joke, as a kid, it got me so much anxiety, like you have to click in the right moment when the face appears, and then it's only for 1 millisecond, and then it's the next picture. Also, the heartbeat goes faster. Ugh. Even now, as an adult, this game still gives me anxiety. So please make it easier or choose another mini game for the proposal. Now to the main game. If a me levels up, you can give them items. Here it would be great if you have more options, or you can change some items with others. For example, instead of a 3DS, you can give them a Switch, or instead of a CD, a radio, and so on and so forth. Also, more options for the pets would be great. I mean, in the first game, we had cats and dogs, but what about rabbits, birds, fishes, hamsters, turtles, or even pigs? That would also be great. A nice detail to have would also be that the things you give to the Mies fits the personality. For example, that lazy Mies more like junk food or video games, and sporty Mies more like salad and sport items. And if a Mii doesn't love something like food or clothes, they give it back to you. Then you can give the clothes to someone else who might like it. And if a Mii doesn't like food, you can make the option that the Mii says, "Hey, I actually don't like that." The next idea I actually saw online, and that is let the Mies interact with their surrounding. I mean, imagine you give a sporty Mii a fitness room and they actually use the treadmill or the bike. Or you give someone else a kitchen and the next minute they actually cook something in it. I mean, how cool would that be? The next idea was actually a suggestion from a friend, and that is that more Mies can live together. And I don't mean as a couple, I mean like as a household. Here, The Sims would also be a good example. Maybe then you can also categorize your characters on fandom. For example, I could then let all the people from Undertale, MLP or Hazbin Hotel live together. And it would also be easier to manage all your Mies. A thing we really need is more places and events on an island. I mean, what we had in the first part was great, but after a while it gets really repetitive and boring. So, in the next game, we need more of that. A bit background music on some places, like the beach, the fountain, the park, or the cafe, would also be very helpful. I mean, if you Mies hang out on places like this and you watch them for hours, some background music would actually really relaxing. Let's be honest. Some things on the island in the first part were really unnecessary, like the rank list, or the love tester, or the photo studio. You can take that out. I mean, it's nice to have, and you can play with it for a little while, but in my opinion, we don't need something like that. Instead, this place could be used for something else entirely. The same rule applies also to the mini games. After a while, you know them all and they get really repetitive and boring. Some mini games you can even patch out or make better, like Catch or the thing with the shadows. Especially with the food items, who are mostly on a plate, are very annoying. Because if the Mies then asks what is this item, you are like, I don't know, it could be anything. It's just a black circle. And some minigames like the sneezing are also very annoying. You can patch that out. The next thing was actually planned if the Mies didn't have their computer voice anymore. To me, the computer voices were actually really annoying. I would have liked it better if they would just make sounds like in Miitopia or maybe in Animal Crossing, but the trailer already debunked that. So, I think we still got the concert hall. But I agree with the people that if we have a concert hall, we actually need more songs and genres. For example, jazz and indie would be great music genres to have. Also, we really need an algorithm so you can get easier new items like food, clothes, or interior. Because in the first game, you often had the same things, or if you get something that it wasn't in the right color or something. So we need an algorithm so the computer notice, oh wait, we already had that, so I give the player something else and new instead. And more space for names or phrases. Or you can make the phrases out, because to me they're actually unnecessary, and after a while you get out of ideas what you can give the person as a phrase. Next, let's talk about the online function. Metopia for the Switch was already a great example on how you can share your Miis online. But instead of using a code, it would also be helpful if you can easily just look up the name. Because if you want a specific character, you first have to look online for a code only for them to not work or it doesn't exist anymore. The same also applies to travelers. On the 3DS we had the Street Pass, which doesn't work anymore, so the travelers need to travel online. Maybe it would also be great if you can choose where the Mii is heading. For example, then you get a bunch of options like in Mario Maker, and then you can choose where the Mii can go. This would also be a great opportunity to share your Miis with your favorite YouTuber or streamer or influencer. And of course, items for traveling should also be shared online instead of a street pass. And lastly, this was also debunked in the trailer, maybe a new environment would also be great. So instead of an island, you can make a town or a mountain. Generally, it would be really great if Tomodachi Life becomes a new franchise, like Animal Crossing, or that the Miis get the franchise in general and we get more games with the Miis in the future. So, I think that's all for now. Did I forget something? If so, feel free to write your own ideas and suggestions in the comments. For now, I would say I'm very excited for 2026 when Tomodachi Life 2 finally comes out.